So, good afternoon and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the opening of Almost Seen. And thank you for joining us today. And as I said, this is not a like as I always say, like this. It's not a class, right? Where you just like turn off a camera and sleep. It's a casual meetup where we come in and exchange ideas and talk about these amazing artists who are changing the course through this cross-cultural context and making those conversations accessible and possible, which we need to know the most, right? And I'll say it would be great if everyone keeps their camera on so that we know that we are talking to a human being rather than a laptop, right? But if not, then it's totally fine. I understand some people are camera shy, so it totally works, right? And today I'm very happy to introduce Ifidilupo. Today, I'm very happy to introduce Princess Ifidilupo from Art for Fest and our two artists, Sheli Gupta and Diafrel. Sorry, Princess Ifidilupo, in case I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I know it's wrong, but I'm trying my best to have it right. But
You're trying. You're doing well. You're trying.
thank you. Thanks a lot. And everyone else who joined us today, right, for this opening. And those who don't know me, my name is Vikas, and I'm founder and director of Artlune. And it's, I'll say, I have had a great pleasure of curating this show titled Almost Seen and developing this collaboration with Art4Fest. So, to begin with, I'll say this exhibition is. This exhibition begins with a conversation between Art for Fest and Art Lune about creating a dialogue between contemporary art practice from South Asia and Africa, right? So rather than trying to create a very large exhibition representing two regions, right? We wanted to begin with something very more focused, where we'll be having two artists and have 6 7 works and like very specific curatorial idea where we can have those conversations going on rather than bringing in tons of things in a single day, right? So two artists we have here are Sheli Gupta, based in Delhi, and Rafael, based in Ile-de-France and Switzerland, right? And now if you guys go to the website, look at the works, and you'll see that their practices are very different, right? But at the same time, there's something very important about this exhibition. Although their practices are different, they are talking about the same thing, right? And so tonight, I'll say, rather than trying to explain everything at once, right? We would like to share a little about how this exhibition came together, the thinking behind it, and then give both the artists an opportunity to speak about their practice. Unfortunately, Rafael won't be here with us, but we have another session called Meet the Artist, where he'll be there. So if we are missing him today, then we'll definitely gonna see him that day, right?
Yes.
So thank you, thank you. And if you feel like I'm speaking too fast, just let me know. Or is there something which is not making sense? Just let me know. What I'll do is I'll adjust my pace accordingly, or try to use words which are more accessible, right? So if I'll say uh, s- sorry, so it would be great if everyone can just mute themselves so that it will be easy for me to like speak, right? So the title Almost Seen. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm listening you very nicely, and
Hmm.
you're a good representative. Thank you for this meeting to invite me. And I'm working with ArtFroFest from last four and a half years as a SEO expert and functional of digital marketing. I
Mhm.
managed there. So how do you plan to exhibit this new two artists, Diafrel and Shalu?
Shelley.
Is there any, yes, is there any platform do you want to use, or it's on your website? You just
The ex-
make the post.
no, exhibition is already live and we have just posted a link in the chat. So if you can just click on that link, you can visit the website and have a look at it. Right. So let me tell you a bit more about the title itself and the central exhibition theme, so that before we move forward, or you look at the works, you'll get better understanding of what exactly this whole thing is about. Right. So the title almost seen come from an idea that become the central idea of this exhibition, where difference between something begins be like difference between something being absent and something being concealed, right? Something that is absent is no longer there, right? But and at the same time, something that is concealed is still present, right? It has simply been, I'll say, pushed out of view, right? And the distinction becomes interesting when looking at the practice of these two artists. Raphael works with materials that have already been discarded, right? Like cardboard, trampoline, textiles, and other surfaces that have had like another life, right? And these are materials that have effectively been moved out of our field of attention, and we see them as waste, right? Therefore, I'll say we stop seeing them something which carries a meaning, right? And Raphael takes these materials and works back into them, so that the paintings which he create using layers and transformation, the material being begins to make like another identity, while still retaining traces of its previous life, discarding completely rather than completely discarding something, right? On the other hand, Shelley Gupta approaches the idea of concealment from a completely different direction. Right, her practice explores female desires, intimacy, vulnerability, and social restrictions surrounding women, surrounding women through bodies and their experiences, right? She works with thread, fabric, paper, and other materials using layering, stitching, fragmentation to explore experiences that are often difficult to express openly, right? And am I clear so far? If any doubt, let me know, right? Okay. So, okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so we are not through this exhibition, we are not suggesting that Raphael and Shelley are talking about the same thing, as I mentioned earlier, because they are not doing the same. Because one is looking at discarded material, ecological concern, and human presence. Other is looking at female desires, intimacy, agency, and social restrictions. But there's a point where both of these practice start talking to each other, right? Because both these artists use materials and processes to make something that sits beneath the surface, and it emerges gradually, right? Where nothing is forced. And that's where the title almost thing comes from. Something present without immediately being reconsidered. Oh, sorry, immediately being recognized, right? So something can be visible without being fully understood, right? And perhaps the exhibition is ultimately trying to ask to for us to slow down and consider, what do we overlook and what do we push out of view, right? And what happens when we take some time to look at those things again, right? This is I'll say this is just the starting point, right? And a long journey has begun with this exhibit, because now it's time for us to start thinking, start talking about some things, right, which we generally or often overlook. So now I would like to invite Ifedelopo to speak a little more about Art for Fest, the collaboration, and how she sees this dialogue between two artists and the practice.
All right, sorry. Thank you very much, Vika. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Almost Seen and to share this exhibition with Artlune. So for those who are meeting ArtFroFest for the first time, ArtFroFest is an art agency dedicated to contemporary artists from Africa and its diaspora. Our work goes beyond presenting artworks. We support artists in developing their visibility, creating meaningful opportunities for their work to travel and entering conversation with audience, collectors, institutions, and so on. So dialogue is an important part of our approach. The collaboration with Artlune grew from a shared desire. Basically, myself and Vika, we met and we just gelled, really. We just understood that we were on the same path. We're really trying to support artists. So, and the idea for us was to actually create a conversation between Africa and South Asia. So those are two regions that are distinct in histories and culture, but at the same time, they do have similarities. So we thought we would create this dialogue to allow these differences and similarities to show through different experiences. So we are hopefully looking forward to be doing more of this type of events. I would say that we also decided, like Vika said, that we would not start with something with like too many artists, but focused on two artists, which is why we decided to focus on Diafrel and Sheli. Not because they're, like you said, not because that they're doing something similar, but just because also they're doing something that is totally different, but at the same time, there is a link between the two of them. And as you you perfectly explained, Sheli works on different, there's a lot of emotions that she's bringing out through her paintings, a lot of intimacy, female desires, whereas, like we said, Diafrel works more with fabrics, he works with recycled products, but then at the same time, through this work, while we pair them together, when we pair Diafrel and Sheli's work, it then brings a different dimension. It brings some sort of, how can I put this to you? While placing their work together, basically we get this, how can I say that to you in a very,
I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So it's like they are using different methods and techniques, but at the same time, they are trying to say something which is underneath their surfaces,
and
which
they're
is
saying
not
something that is
obviously.
beyond. The story they're telling is beyond what we are seeing. There's a lot of things that is underneath it. That's what I was trying to express. So thank you very much. So by putting them side by side, by putting Diafrel's work along Sheli's side, I think we become more attentive to what those materials carry beyond their physical history. There is something about memory, vulnerability, and presence in both practices. Sheli approaches these questions through the body, the intimacy, like I said, all these experiences, while Diafrel approached them through material that has been overlooked and transformed. So placing them together shifts the attention to simply what you see, to what you've been overlooking and what is beneath all this. So that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you for amazing words, Ifidulupu. I'll say, I think what particularly, as you mentioned, right? Like what's the most interesting part about this collaboration is that it was not begin by saying let's find two artists and who make similar work, right? It actually started with the opposite thing where they looked at two artists together and see how their practice are meaningfully talking to the space and how those practice can be combined together,
Mm,
right? And I'll say using material, I'll become the strongest point, and using material and the process becomes the strongest point of this whole exhibit, right? Like as again, I feel like I'm just echoing what you said, but because you said it so perfectly, right? Like Raphael works look into the surface which has already been discarded. At the same time, Shelley's works uses thread, fabric, paper, and human forms, right? They both use layer, but the layering operates differently, right? With Raphael, layering layers, I'll say transforms a discarded surface and allow other images to present or emerge, right? But on the other hand, like Shelley's work create boundaries, right, around those bodies, which is simultaneously drawing attention to what's underneath it, right? And it's the same thing. Like for one, I'll say layering can conceal, but for other, layering can reveal, right? And a lot of times same thing happens, like a lot of time, like both things happen at the same time, right? And as I said, I feel like I'm just echoing what she said, right? But again, thank you again for listening.
no,
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love for you. I'd really love to speak to Shelley and ask her so much questions about her work. I mean, I'd like her to tell us more about these feelings that she's putting through her
Mhm.
artwork, because I think it's very strong, and I'd really love for her to share that with us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, of course, we can. Shali, if you have any specific thing, yes, we can, or or we can wait for 1 or 2 minutes because I have three points to cover, and then we can move towards artist
Oh, sorry,
introductions,
sorry.
if that's all right.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry, it happens technology, right? Okay, I'll I'll try to wind up super fast. So it's about like talking about the differences while having those conversations, right? And Raphael works ask us to reconsider what we want, what we discard, and Shelley asks us to reconsider what we silence, what we silence or what we restrict, and in very different ways. Ask us to pay attention to what exists beneath their immediate surfaces, right? And that's ultimately where is what almost seen is about, right? And again, now I would like to invite Sheli Gupta, right? And before I'll invite Sheli, I feel like I should tell a bit more about Sheli. Sheli is a visual artist based in Delhi whose practice explores female desires, intimacy, vulnerability, and the social restrictions surrounding women, bodies, and experiences. Right? Her practice is primarily mixed media, incorporating materials like cloth, thread, and wire. And thread is particularly significant in her work. I can connect. Sorry, I can. It can connect, hold, weave, construct, but at the same time, it can also create boundaries and restrictions. Right through these materials, Shelley explores the complex female desires and relationship between body, intimacy, and social expectations. Her figures are not simply there to be looked at, but it carries experiences, emotions, and questions about the agency and self-expression. And in the context of this exhibition, I'll say like the idea that all that something can be visible, but what lies within it may acquire different kind of looking. Right, and this is how I feel like Shelley's work connects with this exhibition. So stage is all yours, Shelley. Thank you for waiting, if you develop.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Vikas. I hope I am audible, clear audible. Okay. So thank you so much, Vikas and everyone. I think my introduction is enough, and I think the best way for me to speak about this work is to briefly talk about how I arrived at this practice. So I initially started exploring the idea of desire through overlapping the forms, colors, and layers. So I was interested in how different thoughts, emotions, and desire can exist together. Like I became more interested in the female body, not as a subject or an image, but as a space that carries desires like intimacy, vulnerability, and personal experiences. So I started questioning how we look at the female body and why certain desires are accepted while others are expected to remain hidden or controlled. So this way, that time where thread became very important part in my practice. Like for me, I thought that thread is not only a material. Like it behaves a lot like us. Like thread can connect, thread can restrict, thread can construct also, and bind and create the boundaries. So it became a way for me to think about the boundaries we create around the body and around ourselves. If you look at all three works which are exhibiting in the exhibition, um, you can see the layers of colors. Like you can see the layers of colors, lines, and forms like abstract forms and figures that overlap and sometimes interrupt each other. So the figures are present, but they are not completely revealed. So I hope you all can understand what I'm saying, that that is something I am interested in, the space between being visible and being understood. So I don't want my figures to simply be looked at. I want the viewer to think about what might exist beneath the surface, like what the figure is feeling, what is choosing to reveal, what it might be choosing to keep private. So for me, that connects very naturally with almost seen. It is about something being present but not completely visible. And sometimes what is hidden is not absence, it is simply waiting to be differently. My practice is still evolving, and I'm still exploring these questions of desires, vulnerability, visibility. So I hope you will see my other works in further exhibitions. So thank you so much for being here and taking time to look at my work. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Shelley. I believe Ifedelope has some questions for you. I feel like before
Ah,
we
yeah,
move
sure,
forward,
sure, sure.
if anyone has any
I would
question,
really love to answer that questions.
I really love the fact that you're talking about female and also the vulnerability, and I like the way you
Yeah.
balance it. There is some element of nudity, but at the same time it's also concealed, and I really wanted to know, how did you manage to create that at shall I say, almost perfect balance, because it's not too much, but it's just enough. You're showing just enough, and then it's like it's making you want to discover more about what you're doing. So I was wondering, how do you decide that okay, the piece is done? I'm not going to add anything to it.
Thank you so much for asking. Actually, when I'm making the artwork, I actually not planned the artwork. Like I'm not making any layout of the artwork. I'm just processing and exploring the journey of that artwork. And the main focus of my work is to connection with the emotions. Like I'm working on the emotions, hidden desires. So my focus is to balance with the emotions and the outer presence, the physical presence of the body. So my focus is to create physical presence, but also like viewers should connect the emotions with that, like how the female body is creating the essence of desires and the vulnerability and the like these emotions which they have to hide because of the social expectations. So basically I'm not planning any of the artworks. So I'm just exploring the journey and I'm enjoying the process. If today I'm feeling very low and like sad, so my work is already like my work feels that emotions. So I'm making these forms also in my artwork. So I don't know how when my artwork is finished. So I hope you understand what I'm
I,
saying.
I totally
I don't
understand what
know.
you're saying. I like the way you put it, and then you're working with the emotions, and at the same time you're working,
Yeah.
which is physical. So you managed to create the balance. So that you're doing very well at that. So please continue. You're doing very.
I don't like I don't look at the figure. I'm just looking at the what figure is feeling, like what the female body and female human figures, what they are feeling, what they are choosing to reveal, and what they are choosing to hide. So these emotions is main for me, and I'm working on that questions, like why we have to hide our emotions, why we have to keep um, like uncovered and uncovered with our emotions, not only emotions, our thoughts also. Like there are many kind of thoughts, not in the female body. I think everyone can feel that sometimes many things we are ignoring, like the people we have met, the places we have lived, and the things we have been told. So these are the things which we are almost ignoring every day. And if we think about it, like these are slowly become the identity of who we are. So I think not I'm not only working with the female nudity, I'm just the working on the emotions which hidden by the expectations of society.
Thank you very much.
I'll say well said. I'll say well said. And just to finish this thing, I'll say when someone put their heart and soul in the work, right? Then work started talking to the person, and that's when I'll
Yes,
say
yes,
artist
yes.
knows exactly when it's finished. As a viewer,
Yeah,
for us, work never finishes, but artist knows when you need to put that last brush stroke and it's done, right? Yes.
yeah. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone will see my work on the website. And I'm so sorry, everyone, because I won't be able to keep my camera on because I have to travel now. So I will definitely listen all the conversation. So please allow me to keep my camera off. And thank you so much, everyone. I hope you can understand this.
Sure, sure,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank
Of
you so
course.
much.
Have a safe travel, I'll say.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you.
So now, thank you. So now I thank you, Sheli. So now I wish Raphael was here, but I would love to speak few words, like say few words about Raphael. And he's again a multidisciplinary talented artist based in France, whose practice brings together ecological awareness, material transformation, and poetic imageries, right? He works with the abandoned and discarded surfaces like cardboards, trampoline, textiles, and other materials that have already had a previous life, right? So I'll say, like, rather than removing the history of these materials, what he does is he incorporate those things into his work, right? Like their folds, their marks, their textures, and their like imperfection, right? Which becomes the part of his artistic practice. And through painting and layering, these surfaces are transformed into new spaces and new narratives, right? There is something very interesting about his process of also like not of like because the material has already been given a value judgment, right? Before the artist touches it. Like example I'll give you, like if you buy anything from Amazon, so Amazon's box task is to get the thing delivered, and then it's done. The end of the life of the box. But best thing about Raphael, he picks those things up and give that new life where it's not expected. It's like it has been used, it has been discarded, and then Raphael comes up, asks to us like, "Would you like to look at this again?" Right, and that's where we come in, and we come in and we start seeing that work with the, or not just the work, the material, right? We wait and listen what the material has to say, what the work has to say, what artist has to say, right? I wish Raphael was here and I would have invited him. But as I mentioned earlier, he'll be joining us on 30th of August for Artist Conversation. So please join us for that time so that you won't miss any of it, right? And now stage is open for Q&As. So artist is here. She can definitely speak, but she cannot turn on her camera. And if you develop me, we all are here. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. If not, I have some questions for the participants, if you guys are ready. No, no takers. Okay. So how will I say, like, okay, question for everyone who is present here and who will be watching this video later. How do you decide when we need to discard an emotion or a material? We'll begin with material because it's easy, and we'll move towards emotion, right? Okay, so how everyone decides. Like for me, I decide, as I said, like I bought this, it comes in a packaging. Okay, I unboxed it. That's it, packaging done. Now it's the bin time, right? So that's how I decide. And is there any other way any other person decides?
I guess you can discard things when they are damaged. When you believe that they are damaged. Let's say you have I don't know, a cup that you really like and it broke. Then you just want to throw it. Or maybe something that is old that you think you want to replace, I guess.
Smartly, I'll say wisely said. Wisely said. And what when it comes to emotion, how do you feel like? How do you feel like? How do you decide when you have to discard those emotions? Is it when society comes in and starts saying, "Hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You should behave like." I'll say like when I was doing Fragile Strength, our project on male mental health. First thing which triggered the idea was, "Hey, man up, boys don't cry. Are you a girl? Why are you crying?" So those things started triggering me, like why as a human being I cannot express myself, right? I'm it's crying is a natural process. Why I'm defined like I'm a male, I cannot cry. If I'm a female, I can cry. Why is it like this? So that's how I grew up in a way where society taught me to discard a certain emotion based on who am I and how do I look. Anyone would like to add anything? Shalu, Thanwat, and we have like Rahul, we have Simran, Sami, Samina, right? We have Tanish. So many people we have. Anyone?
Emotions. I'd say for me, I like, especially let's say when you were in love and you had you got heartbroken. You'll first do some sort of internal work. So you'll try to digest it, get comfortable with it before you can externalize it and then discard it. I think it would go that way.
Is it discarding or is it accepting what has happened and now it's just like moving forward with it?
True, actually, yeah. You transform in it, yes, you digest it, and then it becomes something else, I guess. You're right. I never thought about it that way.
Anyone else? Shalu, Thanwat, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, for me, like I caught from like the thing that you said, like I'm always be the one who like try to focus on myself, like my feeling, and just like accept every feeling that's come to my mind, and just like you mentioned, and then after that, if I literally know how I feel, I just like move forward from that. Like just the first thing that you have to accept your feeling first. So now you can know like the way you can express yourself, even like in a physical way or like any way, something like that. I always do something like that. I'm not sure it's help or not. Yeah.
I would like to what Tanvir said. He said that first we have to accept our feelings. Um, I remember when I was curating the exhibition for Sheli, Desire Without Apology, and we were having discussion. So the foremost thing is like when you have certain emotions, that first thing, like before figuring out everything and before even thinking about what society thinks about certain emotion, you have to understand and accept those emotions in order to figure out that those emotions. So acceptance is a key. Like if you are feeling something, you have to first accept that yeah, these emotions exist and it is all right to have those emotions. And now the second part comes is like how you are going to figure out. And if it is something that society bounds you, then sometimes you have to fight back for it, and sometimes you have to digest certain emotions in order to move forward. So I guess it depends on the emotions which you are feeling. But the foremost thing, as Tanvat said, is that yeah, you need to absorb everything and accept it, because those are your emotions and they can't be wrong because you feel it. And if someone is saying that no, that's wrong, you can't feel it, or if being a man you can't cry or express yourself, so that does not mean that those emotions don't exist for that certain section of people. So yeah, that happens with me, and I think that happens with a lot of people.
Wisely said, I'll say wisely said, right? And I don't know, like yeah, acceptance is the biggest thing, right? And if you are not accepting, that it is discarded, you cannot move forward, right? Okay, so this makes me ask, anyone has any other question? Otherwise, I have another one. Anyone? No? Okay. Okay, I have one. Okay, so do you think material itself can influence the story that an artwork eventually tells? Anyone would like to say anything? As there's no right or wrong answers in it. It's just a discussion. So I'll repeat question again.
I think
So
it
do
might.
you think, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I think it might in some ways or participate to the actual story that the artwork says. So yeah, I guess it's linked to it. It will be part of it. It's the physical part of it, but like Shelley said, is also this whole emotional part of it that you can add to it. So I guess both of them are working together.
Fair enough, fair enough. And I'll say this. This reminds me of an example. I was in India Art Fair 2018 or 19 somewhere. I can't remember exactly. So artists used her like discarded saris of her grandmother, right? And she used paint. She painted narratives of like her grandmother, and she's sitting there talking, and instead of using drapery she just created outline where the sari becomes the drape, like cloth, right? It becomes a cloth which they are wearing. And yeah, like it adds in, but again it depends on what story we are talking about and what narrative we are trying to build, right? Like in case of Drafael, I'll say it's who all are the people who use those trampolines, who all are the people who decided whether these cardboard boxes needs to be thrown, right? And what was the impact of that decision in their life? I think that also matters when we are talking about material itself. I don't know whether everyone agrees with me or not, but just my thought on it. Yeah. So, anyone, any question? Anyone?
Uh, I would like to add something to it. I think the surface or the medium which the artist chooses is very closely connected to the things which they want to convey through their works. And if I talk about Shelley or Raphael, they uses the materials and the medium which primarily shows what they are going to talk about through their artworks at the end, like when the artworks comes out. If I mention about Shelley, she uses mixed media layering, and she uses thread, cloth, stitches in her works. When she talks about women, women desires, their memory, and how they feel, and how society bounds them. So when women are restricted to the domestic life, so the basic materials which describe their life is clothing, stitching, and the thread work, which is like very connected to the women and what the work that is defined for them. So it's like breaking those barriers which are somehow created by those materials, and she tries to portray the emotions which are like uh, denied to women. And like the thread, it's very nature of women where the thread can link up a lot of things. It is very fragile, but if you want to connect two pieces of cloth, that very fragile material, it is the only thing which can be used to connect those two pieces. So the work of thread, it's like, I mean, can be strong, but it can be weak as well. I mean, it symbolizes both of the things. So yeah, I mean, the very material which is used to restrict women's space can be used to uh, overthrow those boundary and to come out of it. And same with not same, but with Jafel, he chooses those materials which are discarded by the society or which are no longer used as people see them, but he chooses those materials and try to show his feelings or his views about the society or the environment to aware people and to acknowledge all those things. Like, even if the society or the people denies certain things, they still exist, and even if you deny them, but they will remain the same. So yeah, I guess the material, it justifies what the artwork is trying to say.
And adding something on this is, I'll say like, and that's where being an artist and taking some decision regarding your artwork becomes very important, because you won't be just choosing random materials, right? You think you are not even thinking in a like a short term vision. Your thought is like a very long, and you are looking something which is like how this whole city is gonna look like, right? Your material forms the foundation of that thing, the whole thing idea. And I'll say what you said is very interesting, that thread which is very fragile when you just look at like a thread, right? But the moment you start stitching it with something, that fragile thread itself becomes super powerful, right? And that's where the idea of creating barriers using thread become very powerful itself, right? I feel like we are moving towards the closing of this opening, and I would like to thank everyone for coming in and bringing this conversation together. And I specifically would like to thank Fidelopo, Sheli, and if Rafael is there, yes, Rafael, in our spirits, I would like to thank him as well for being part of this project, and all of you guys who joined us for this amazing evening, right? Although you can see sun at the back, but trust me, it will about to set, right? And almost begin so like almost same begin with two different artistic practices and question about what happens to things that are pushed to out of view, right? And I hope you'll spend time with the works, and you look what lies beyond the surface, or what's immediately there, what's not immediately there, right? And we have added link of our exhibition and our feedback in the chat. So I would request everyone to please give us your feedback, so that we can bring more such amazing events for everyone, so that we can have these conversations around art every time, right? Plus, click on the link, visit our website, and see Almost Seen, because the moment you start seeing those works, you'll realize what we have just discussed. You'll notice everything comes together and creates a full circle, right? So thank you everyone, and I hope you guys will enjoy the exhibition. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you guys on next week, or next to next week, for curatorial walkthrough and artist discussion. If you haven't followed us anywhere, please follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our newsletter, so that you'll be updated first. Okay, enjoy rest of your day. I won't take tons of your time. Okay, see you guys. Bye.
Bye bye.